Hello, Judge Napolitano has sources, whether I'm not saying he knows about it, but he has sources with courts, prosecutors, and judges and their family members and foreign and domestic military who planted evidences on my street and at the campuses I went to with the names involved and next to the campuses. Next to Central Connecticut State University, the people that own and associated with the owners of a hot dog selling place and they're all, generations of their family. They have roles with the intelligence community that works on and off Central Connecticut State University to bring Connecticut, who is increasingly roles with medical and sexual offenders of kids, overt criminal enterprises tied to judges and prosecutors. There's a Judge Smith who spoke fake things in records. There's a Judge Killian who spoke fake things in records. A Judge Killian, I was forced for mental evaluation and with the Leahy family that faked conversations with me. They forged other doctors' names and put me in whole fake conversations with other doctors too. Their whole families work at Hartford Hospital's Institute of Living where they forced the mental evaluation. They just fake things. They've had collusions at those locations since founding. You can't tell that their delusions rot. Many Americans know that the founders, I mean, the people who speak on mental health are criminally foreign influence, tactically delusions rot, and using how other people will jump in people's conversations, making things up and valuing those delusions. So I'm not saying that as an insult. I'm saying it as an actual thing, even including regarding natural law. You know, smart, intelligent people are tactically delusions rot because they're not using the identity of nature. Answers our question. Nature itself shows us where, how, and why to charge criminal enterprises as groupings of humanity. But see, they do it wrong because they're collusion with them. They're just using they're using the courts and prisons to shut people up and to keep the quality of fact cheap in nature, criminal insidiousness, tactically delusions raw. I put a link to Judge Napolitano's Judging Freedom website. I can't get a response from them. They forged names and switched names to cut the Connecticut courts tied to them. These are people with the Ninth Circuit Court next to the World Trade Center tower the day of the attack, who are planting evidences with the people with the World Trade Center, including the victims and their family members and houses next to them. This breaching method uses everyone next to everyone. And with the principal child offender, I still haven't been responded to for the confessions he made. And the ones involved with that and tied to them, they keep attaching me to fake conversations because they have to pretend other. That's why I've been asking since I was a kid to get them on paper. I have a whole bunch of police reports have recorded tied collusions since I was a kid. And they put more than one police report for the same arrest, and they put confessions they made a mistake. They just put a charge with no writing. Then they put an array of fake things in databases. So there are ties between each of the arrests I had with the people I caught with the principal child offender and violence at corners of buildings. They time where people are going to come around a corner of a building and then make confessions to them. They punch them. They punching to make pretend there's the ties between people. Then they lie about the outcome, what happens, because they have possession of their egos, use their own term, and they have their own words. They use them for criminally foreign influence, like what's that called? I forgot what that one was. Passive aggression. There are doctors and their patients who use that word passive aggression for sequence shifts and to cover up how they've been attaching everyone to fake conversations and ties to themselves and to others, into databases. So there's a Leahy family, a whole generations of a Leahy family, males and females, involved with drugs and medicines crimes with judges' families and prosecutors' family members and criminal enterprises at the same time. And the names that with the who had conversations with Wethersfield police that I know of, and they as people who have roles pretending I had conversations with Wethersfield police, they never were. They've been attaching me I never went to the Wethersfield Police Department when I was a kid at all. They wanted me to go there, and the kids that did go there, they forced them. They even gave Chris Walters gave an affidavit. They forced him to put fake things. They also brought up criminal enterprise and things. I had no conversation, no response when he made confessions. That's how he showed me he was tied to the Ray Cololo. There are two people with the name Ray Cololo who have roles with Newington Police Departments, Rocky Hill Police Department families, retired and standing, and Wethersfield Police Departments and Hartford Police Departments. A whole bunch of people at Hartford Hospital involved with drugs and medicines, crimes with the kids. Also putting fake conversations and things in databases at campuses and at medical and fire campuses involved with mail wire crime with them. Wethersfield Police forging and switching names. The courts switched names. So we're gonna examine how they had the audacity to pretend that science spoke for Hartford, Connecticut, let alone New York City, let alone nature. See, nature has an identity of relationship to itself that is only increasingly valued. So it's hyper invisible, but we can discern it. We can discern it as the identity that has other species bodies that aren't not even the human species, but they are also non-distinctly, just like humanity. They are distinctly, but also distinctly, non-distinctly, and simultaneously. Also, where and how it is further simultaneous. There is an identity of hyper simultaneous that each of the species bodies are. That because they didn't invent it, because its identity of relationship to itself and the value of that equally only increasing revealed it. So we shouldn't have to beg to get them on paper. They painted themselves in corners. When I forced the people to call the police, I knew that the police were going to have to lie, and they did. And I watched how they do it. They forced people for mental evaluation. The same people planting evidence is fake motivations too. They run in high lie progressions. The difference between the patients, in other words, the patients, their doctors, their criminal enterprises associated with the whole bunch of people with mental health have roles of wire crimes and mail crimes with Hartford police families. With I don't know what kind of police families or forms, whatever. The Ray Cololo and his father, Ray Cololo, they're tied to a Bob Chase confessed to Phil Cololo is one of the ones with Whiting Forensics. Whiting Forensics was involved with federal evidences, crimes, and child abuses on my street when I was a kid, planting evidences. Whiting Forensics has state police in Vermont and Rhode Island and in Connecticut involved with the Cololo family and with a Rick Cianfaglione who recorded, confessed, demonstrated Cololo and O'Brien with a Rick Cianfaglione. Has roles with a Leahy family with drugs and medicines, crimes with kids, stacking fake things in databases, acting tied to it. So it has something to do too with all along the people that live near them and a former mayor Gold. Increasingly, people tied to former mayors have roles of drugs and medicines, crimes, and planting evidences on all sides of the houses of kids around their own. Same with the courts. In other words, it's not legitimately. We have people pretending they could speak for the law legitimately, but then when they can't follow mandated law, so you have more people with the World Trade Center attack recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed being and having been involved with uses of corners of buildings and of streets and of exceptions. So there was also the daughter of a former principal at the school with the principal child offender, with the upskirt pictures and other medical and things I recorded them involved with, and wire crimes. He has wire crimes with Wethersfield Police Chief, retired, with the same house near me. The Cololo family has roles with two retired police chiefs with wire crimes and falsified police reports, and the judges and their family members forging and switching names, and with prosecutors. There's a Brian Silver involved with New Britain Superior Court, Connecticut's District Court, and Hartford Courts with people on Covington Street in New Britain next to Central Connecticut State University. They have intelligence family there, as the ones also involved with the hot dog place, increasingly planting evidences, planting fake motivations, roles with used remotely, criminally foreign influence, tactically delusions, raw investigations, investigators. You have people using words like mental health who are tactically delusions raw. It's important to have them follow mandated law. So follow mandated law for Judge Napolitano's judging freedom if he won't do it. Get the get the police tied to him onto paper. It's mandated law that they pick one name in sequence. Get onto paper. Get on paper right now. I've been asking since I was a kid to get them on paper. Let's get them on paper right now. Let's go. Oh, who disbelieves? Get them on paper.